Welcome to the American Med Spa Association podcast, Medical Spa Insider. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Thiersch is speaking with Shannon Blake, Director of Medical Spa Partnerships at Podium.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Medical Spa Insider. This is Alex Thiersch. I'm your host. I'm the founder and CEO of AmSpa. And on the AmSpa hotline, we have the lovely and talented Shannon Blake from Podium, which I've made this joke before, but I'm pretty sure that you are, in fact, a live person and not an AI-generated figure. Is that right? How do we prove it?
No way to prove it. Either it's
And I make that joke because we are Shannon. First of all, Podium. We've had you on the podcast before. Podium is a great partner of ours. They're becoming an even bigger partner of ours. We love what you guys have done. We think you're helping transform the industry, making business happen at an easier, more seamless pace. So for those of you who want a more broad background of Podium and what they do, we had a great podcast a while back, which you were on, Shannon. We are going to talk a little bit about Podium and AI, which is why I was making that cheeky reference to Shannon being an AI generated figure. But I can assure you, at least from what I can tell on screen, she is real. We'll have to figure that out. And then we've hopefully got some exciting news to talk about with respect to AmSpa and Podium as well. So first of all, Shannon, welcome to the show. How have you been? What have you been up to? What's the latest?
Thank you for having me on again, Alex. It is always such a treat. We have been up to a lot. For those of you who are less familiar with Podium, we have been on a mission to solve some of the major challenges in the aesthetics industry. One being helping you get found online by making it really, really easy for you to be able to collect reviews. But more importantly, now that you've got all these leads, how can we help you organize them and consolidate them into a single place and make it really easy for you to get back to those leads? So that we have nailed. It's going very well. We have the pleasure of working now with over 1,200 aesthetic practices. We're growing very quickly.
Wow.
Very proud of that. But most recently, we have been taking it to the next level because of the feedback we've received from folks in the industry around, okay, that's great. You help us bring all of our leads from Google ads and Instagram ads and text messages and leads on our website and contact us forms into a single place. But it's very time consuming to manage those leads and get back to them all really fast so they don't go to our competitor. So that I know we will be talking about today and how Podium has solved that, leveraging AI, and just really excited to dig into that in more detail because she is phenomenal.
And she is a she, which I think is appropriate given that patients and owners and providers in this industry are women. So that's great. I do want to get into all of the personality traits and all of that of the AI bot that you guys use. I'm curious though, kind of taking a step back. Podium is, I want to say you're relatively new to the aesthetic space. Not new, you've been here for a bit, and you've certainly been kind of working on developing that client base. But recently, you correct me if I'm wrong. You kind of formally became like there was a certain platform or a vertical that you said, well, okay, we're going to focus on aesthetics. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that means and why that's important for folks in the industry?
Yeah, so Podium got started actually back in 2014. And initially, our focused industries were automotive, retail, as well as healthcare, but more traditional healthcare, clinics, dental, chiropractic, hospitals. And Alex, you guys have been on this journey with us from the beginning. It's probably been about 2 years ago that I started, as our platform had evolved, we started getting text marketing that really helped people get folks back and re-engaged in additional services. A light bulb went off for me and I was like, how are we not in the aesthetics industry? Like our product is literally perfect for this industry and solving a lot of problems. So put together a business case, pitched it to our CEO. They loved it. And last August, we completely restructured our company to where a fourth of our business is focused on aesthetics. On the product side, on the sales side, on the customer service, the onboarding, there is every department that lives, eat, and breathes aesthetics. So we are all in. That was last August. We probably had 200 or so at that time, just from
Wow.
folks calling us. And now we're at 1,200. And it's been, what, 7 months? I don't know my math that quick, but
No, I don't want to do math in public. That's a dangerous thing, and people will lose faith in me completely. That's incredible. I mean, so I'm curious. Any differences between aesthetics and automotive, or are they pretty much the same thing?
you know what? There's a lot of similarities. Local business is local business in a lot of ways, but where we have really doubled down on aesthetics is this lead consolidation, lead conversion, and launching Avery, our AI patient coordinator. Those are all even more relevant in aesthetics. Because what's really interesting about aesthetics is how fast it's growing and how many new services are constantly being added into the industry. You don't see that with a dealership. Like, it's pretty old school the way they're run. You know, they've got their service department and their sales department, and they have their cars that they sell, but aesthetics is changing all the time. And so you really do, as this industry grows, you need a platform that will grow with you and is adding features that are tailored to this industry and being able to really solve that problem around managing leads long term, not leaving revenue on the table, somebody who can, answer all your new questions about new services you offer without having to pay an employee to do that. So anyways,
yeah, it's certainly exciting. And AI has been, other than the fact that it's going to take over the world and destroy all of humanity, it's been great. And it's going to continue to be amazing. There'll be certainly a couple decades where we will probably, reap the benefits, and then, the machines will take over. But that's all right. We'll talk about that later. We're going to bury that lead for a bit. Now, you mentioned Avery. Why and how did you come up with the name? And I'm not saying you came up with it, but did your company come up with the name Avery for your AI? And what is Avery like?
Yeah, good question. So we decided on a female name, many thanks to your AmSpa State of the Industry report. We love that report that comes out every year, super insightful. The fact that over 70% are women owned, like 89% are female clients. We knew that even though in auto and some of these other industries, we've got a male name like Jerry and Larry was not going to resonate with this industry. So we knew female. So that's how we landed on that. And then Avery we wanted a modern name because aesthetics is a very modern, new industry, all things considered. And so that's where we toyed around with a couple different names. Some of them were already being used with other AI features out in the market. So Avery wasn't taken, and we thought it fit well. So here she is.
So Jerry, you said Jerry and Tom, is that what you said? Jerry
and Larry.
Jerry and Larry are the automotive AI bots. Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing against Jerry and Larry. Like, those names are great. Love them. I've got a Larry in my family. And a Jerry, actually, now that I think about it, but I do like Avery better. I think that probably will resonate. What can you share with us some of the other names that you were kicking around?
Yeah. Zoe was another one that we really liked. ZOE.
Yeah.
We also had Ava, AVA. I thought was really pretty.
Too.
Those were a couple of names, but they were taken, and we did a whole fun thing about it, and the aesthetics team got to vote and pick the final name. So
okay. And now this is maybe a stupid question, but does Avery have, like, is there any, besides the name, is there any real difference between the Avery that is operating in aesthetics versus the Jerry/Larry that is operating in automotive and other industries?
Capabilities are the same, but all the information that she's obviously speaking about is tweaked. So, for example, when you use an AI patient coordinator like Avery, generally what's going to happen is on the back end, we'll have a good 2-hour session where we are feeding Avery all of the information about your medical spa, what you specialize in, what are your services, what are your price points, what are your new member discounts, what are your new member specials, do you have a membership program? You train her on a lot of information so that she is the voice of your company and getting accurate information about what you offer and the experience you offer at your medical spa. So there is a heavy lift up front, but you want to make sure she is accurate and speaking on brand.
Yeah, no, I want to hear more about that, but I want to even take a step back. How, you said Avery is a patient coordinator. So is that kind of what when you envisioned this for aesthetics, it wasn't we're not talking necessarily about a a purely a receptionist or someone who's providing help, through FAQs. This is somebody who is meant to do more than that. And how did you come up with just the kind of the contours of what this was going to do? Because to me, like, it's just, when I think about doing that, it seems incredibly complex, complicated, but also exciting. Because I think in aesthetics, that there are certain things that I think are conducive to this. And so I'm curious, like, what was the development phase like? And since you're 2 years into being in aesthetics, what was that like? Did you test that out on a couple of med spas and bring some folks in to be kind of beta testing on this, or how'd that work?
Yeah, so we have a handful of really talented ambassadors that also happen to own med spas that we bring in for focus groups with our product team when we're looking to build something out like this. So we've got 2 phases built out right now. They helped us with the first one, our ambassadors did, and we all agreed that the priority is we need to help med spas win and speed to lead. So phase 1 of Avery was, let's have her respond and answer questions in a very conversational and human way and book appointments for new leads. So that was the first phase that we worked on. It was like the low-hanging fruit that would create a ton of value. And so that is where we started. So worked with our ambassadors to determine all of the information that we would need to feed into Avery for her to be able to take on the responsibility of managing those initial leads that are coming in.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
That was phase 1. And then phase 2, which is a little more complicated, but we're already actively working on and hoping to launch in Q3. And that is towards the end of Q3, by the way, because Q3 is literally next week, which is
I know. It's so terrifying.
Yeah, but the next phase is, and this is a very, very complicated problem to solve, but you all know, and Alex, you'll probably know this stat better than I, but isn't it around half of the leads that come into a medical spa are current customers that are regular customers, and then there's a whole other piece of the pie that they may never see again if they don't have a way of engaging again.
Yeah.
So what we wanted Avery to be able to take on is learn from the med spa of when do you want her to re-engage with that particular client, leveraging the conversation that had happened in the past and everything that had been discussed without having to do a more like bulk message that's generalized, that isn't tailored to the previous conversations that have been had.
Mm-hmm.
She will know that that person came in for a filler appointment or for hormone replacement therapy consultation or whatever it is. But the med spa will give her like, hey, I want you to follow up with this person in 2 weeks if you haven't heard back from X conversation. So she will be able to manage your leads long-term and not just one time, but have an understanding of how often she should re-engage. So it's going to take that off their plates.
And so Q3, towards the end of Q3 is when you're launching that part of it. So right now it can handle leads, but this is going to be the kind of the version 2.0 where it really can handle long-term management of leads, communication with customers, differently than communication from new leads, which is interesting. And I believe the number you're looking for is like 73% of med spa patients are repeat patients, which is amazing. So I want to get into what you mentioned a little bit before, because this is so interesting, because AI, I know enough to be dangerous. I have resisted thus far the temptation to like use AI to draft something, because I'm terrified it's gonna tell me something I don't want to know. But how, like you mentioned that you kind of backload all of the stuff into the system, like from the med spa, like what is that process like? Are you literally taking, like information from the med spa, all of their, provider names, everything like that, and putting it in so that Avery can talk intelligently about that? Like, what's that process go like?
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is right now and then what it will be, which will be much better. So right now, our onboarding team is taking we'll call it a Google sheet or Excel sheet of all of your services and prices and the description of how you want the Avery to speak about the services. And that is something that we upload on the back end. And then in addition to that, we have a Google form that will have the medical spa fill out that will go over all the details that I was mentioning around Do you have a membership program? What levels are they? What are the benefits of each membership program? What is the cancellation fee that you have at your medical spa? What's the new member special pricing? So they'll fill out the form and give us the sheet of all the services, and then we upload it all and then flip the switch on, and she's ready to start answering questions and booking appointments for you.
And have you seen it in action? I'm sure, I'm assuming you have.
Oh, yeah.
What's your impression so far? I mean, for how it's going.
It's wild. So not only is she does not sound like a robot, and she's playful. So if you're giving her
Good
sass or humor, she understands that and plays right back. But what's been most impressive that I don't think we anticipated was customer service. When somebody has had a poor interaction with a provider, it unfortunately will happen. You can't please everyone. It's
Mhm.
wildly accurate how empathetic and understanding she addresses the concern. Her end goal, though, is let's get you back in. I can book you with a different provider if you feel more comfortable. She's really good at de-escalating upset customers, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. So I guess my question from that goes to, and as you know, we do a lot of education and training, and whether it's boot camps or our meetings. One of the things that we're always preaching is, to that. Well, a few things. One is patient experience for med spas obviously is crucial. And a lot of it comes down to that personal touch, being nice, interaction, developing relationship, developing trust when it comes, especially when it comes to, potential bad outcomes. How do you juggle that? I realize there's a personal touch, and which is, I think, cool and very needed. But is there a point where either Avery knows or the med spa can know that they should or can jump in personally and take it over? Or is that just kind of all handled by Avery?
Yeah, we definitely have fail safes in place. So if a med spa wants to take over a conversation that Avery is having, it's simply just a reassignment to a different to
Okay.
yourself in Podium, for example, and then she shuts off and a human takes over. But so there's that in place. But I would say that's definitely a concern that comes up, is folks feeling like, I love the experience we offer our clients, and I don't want
Yeah.
them to feel like they have been pushed off to a robot. And I totally get that. OpenAI has changed the game, though. They have completely relaunched what is possible with AI, and she does not feel like a robot. And even beyond that, no other industry handles ambiance, experience with their clients better than aesthetics. So let Avery handle all the communication just via text. And over here, when they walk into your med spa, that's all you. That's relationship based. That's you building a
Mhm.
connection, you building trust, you wowing them from the second they walk in to the minute they leave. So that's untouched. You can't replace that. But you
Mhm.
can work smarter, not harder, and leverage AI to give your team time back to focus on revenue generating tasks for sure. So
Yeah, no, it's a good point because we have at AmSpa, and this is something we are going to change, have resisted doing kind of the AI help chatbots, mostly because I have exactly that concern. I've always been worried it's going to sound technical, or whenever I get like the invitation to chat online. Sometimes I've done it, but a lot of times I'm just like, ugh, it's like it's the same thing as like talking to a robot. You don't want to do it. So I think the advancements are key, and that personal touch is key, and allowing their well, let me ask you this: does the patient know they're talking to a robot, or are they kind of unaware of that?
they're unaware of that. And you can also change her name, by the way. I should mention, we call her
Okay.
Avery, but they could call her whatever they want. If
Oh,
there's an
okay.
employee that they want to call her, they can do
All right.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I
I think
like it.
that's a good point. And then to get even creepier, phase 3, that's down the road, is phones. So for those of you that don't know, Podium launched phones. That was our missing piece to the puzzle of having all client communication in a single platform.
Mhm.
And we will be able to have Avery answering phone calls, having phone conversations, booking appointments through there. And I'm sure you all know this, but the capabilities are already out there to record even a bit of your voice. And then AI will be that voice for the entirety of the conversation. So it gets really exciting thinking about, could your front desk, whoever manages, the calls, be the voice of Avery?
Yeah. Wow. I'm trying to think of who I would choose. I'm thinking I'm not sure, somebody British for sure. Something with an accent. I need an accent. I think it'd be how I'd like to do it. So that is, when is that coming out? What's your plan for that?
So that's phase 3, and we don't have that one's a little bit more difficult. Best case Q4, but it could be Q1 of next year. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated along this journey as we get through these major milestones.
So now what about, are you uploading, and does Avery have, well, actually you've already answered this question. When somebody calls who's a repeat client or gets on and chats, Avery then has access to at least some of the patient identifying information. So how are you dealing with HIPAA, patient privacy, all of that kind of stuff? Because obviously that's top of mind for a lot of people.
Yeah, that initially wasn't for those businesses that don't operate under HIPAA. We launched Avery originally. She wasn't HIPAA compliant. We had a few folks sign up, but as of, I think it's been 5 days now, Avery is fully HIPAA compliant. I don't work on the back end to know how all that works, but our product team has confirmed that she is, and the entirety of our platform is fully HIPAA compliant. We've had to be because we've been in healthcare for so long. And so, for a hot minute, Avery wasn't, but we were like, this isn't going to work in med spa if she's not HIPAA. So they quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's a question that people are going to ask for sure. So, I think that's wise. What was the biggest challenge of all this for aesthetics? What was the one thing that your team really had to struggle to get past, and was that the one hurdle that was kind of the most tough to scale?
You know what it is something that we still need to solve for when it comes to scheduling. And this isn't one that we're going to be able to solve ourselves. We're going to have to work with the EMRs on this, but aesthetics is complicated because people don't just book an appointment with a single service. A lot of times they're booking multiple different services for an appointment, and it starts to get a little bit complicated because Avery sends out a scheduling link. And so when she sends that out, depending on the EMR that they're using, you maybe as a med spa want to have a little bit more control over how they're booking the appointments and how much time slots they're taking based on how many services. And so that's something that we're still trying to figure out that might be a little bit interesting initially. You'd have to just kind of monitor how people are booking appointments and making sure that it's accurately done, because then appointment reminders are going out a lot of the times if we've got an integration with your EMR. And so it's just, that's the one thing that is a little tricky with aesthetics, is how people are booking the appointment and how many sessions they're booking. So I don't know that directly correlates with Avery, but when she does get into conversations about rescheduling and whatnot, that can be a little bit confusing.
Right. Now, you mentioned that she is good at de-escalating. How does she do, what's the secret to that? Because there's a lot of folks who need to learn that. So I'm kind of curious, what are some of the things that she does to de-escalate? Can you share anything with that?
Yeah, I wish I had a screenshot handy of one that I just saw from Epion. So just like you could go to ChatGPT right now and say something like, I'm so upset about my experience. What can you do to make it right? Just showing clearly that you're upset. That's just open API. They understand how to reply to messaging like that. That actually was the easiest part. So she is listening for keywords of being dissatisfied, being upset, and she's just responding as a human who is relatable and has been in that situation before. So yeah, that's easy stuff. That's already, Open API has already created it in such a way that we just integrate that into Podium and she does the work there.
All right. I'm not going to say it's not a little weird to think about all this happening. How much do you use AI in your own life? Are you do you have it plugged into your phone and all that kind of stuff?
I use it a lot. So professionally, it's been really a big time saver for like putting together a job requisition if we're hiring for a
Mhm.
position, being able to like mark down all the characteristics that the person needs to have, the skills, and it creates the bones so beautifully. Those take a long time to create. So like having all the perfect language for the different skill set and the experience that you're looking for, super handy.
Mhm.
Obviously, like many of us do, use it to write emails. I needed to send a draft to our CEO to kick off to a partner. I had ChatGPT create the bones for me and let him do a little bit of tweaks based on his personality. I'll use it for creative team names. Like I'm a fantasy football girl. I have a run coming up with a bunch of ladies, and I'm not that creative, so I'll go to ChatGPT and have it come up with a creative team name for us. So I use it for a lot of stuff, Alex. Personal, professional. It's
I
amazing.
mean, I know I've got to get on the train. Seriously, my wife uses it quite a bit as well, and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm just not gonna be able to do it right. I feel like I'm gonna type in the wrong thing, and I'm gonna launch a nuclear war. I'm
No,
gonna
no, no,
launch a
no.
missile.
You literally, if it writes something you don't like, you just say, give it direction. Like I had it write a letter of recommendation for a friend who was trying to get into a college program. And I had it write it. And then I was like, make it a little shorter, highlight this characteristic about her that would be a perfect, reason of why she should be involved in the program, whatever it may be. So you just give it guidance and it within seconds will just adjust it based on the direction you're giving it.
All right. I'll take your word for it, Shannon.
You have
I
to.
mean, if that is your name, I might be talking to Avery right now. Who knows? This could be, this could get weird. Um, I do like, I would love to. So, first of all, you've like when you all sit down, because I mean, and Podium, obviously you're a big company. You've got the investment dollars that you're throwing towards AI and other things, I think is probably more than we're doing here at AmSpa. But when you sit down and talk about AI, like when you look to the future, like what do you, I mean, do you have any idea, or do the folks on your team have any idea as to what this is going to look like 5 years from now? I mean, because I'm so curious. Like, I feel like there's some stops and starts right now, but it's definitely getting better, right? It's definitely getting better, and I can only imagine once they iron out some of these bugs, you've got your future, your version 3 where you're answering the phone. I mean, are we going towards where you're going to walk in and a robot is going to be doing the injections for you? Is that on the horizon?
I mean, Alex, I think it was Elon Musk that basically came out and said in 20 years, if we don't want to work, we won't have to. Like,
I don't want to work right now. Does that count?
there's really nothing, I can't think of anything that this couldn't replace. I know it's terrible to talk about, but like even doctors,
Yeah.
surgeries, like we talk about human error, that goes out the window when you start having AI, a robot, take over and the accuracy that it can have. But
Mhm.
honestly, I think it's all possible, but I feel like as human race, we are smart enough to know at some point we will need to put regulations in place where it's gone too far. Like I
Mhm.
definitely see it taking over housework. We'll have an AI assistant in our house. It can cook, it can clean, it can mow our lawns, all the activities that we want it to be able to do. I'm sure we'll pay some kind of subscription for its capabilities, depending on where we need help and where we don't. But I think it's going to truly come in and like have estheticians be doing injections. I think that's going to be up to us as humans on where we want to draw the line, personally.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's true. It's a good point. So is this pretty much been like where Podium has been focused? I mean, what's next? Are you thinking, is this kind of the next generation where you all are moving, or what's coming in aesthetics besides this, if anything, or is this kind of where all your eggs are?
Yeah, all we're really, really, really focused on solving for the long-term lead management. There's a couple cool products out there that do a decent job. There's still some manual work, but we want to be the first to truly solve that, where it is a set it and figure it, and they will just make sure that you've got folks booking appointments and getting them into your door. So it's truly like AI is where a lot of our money is being invested right now.
Yeah.
We also, and this is my job on the side, we are on a mission to get an integration with every key EMR in aesthetics, because Podium is not here to replace EMRs like NextText, Anodi, Patient Now, Aesthetic Record, Aesthetic Pro. We want to be partners with them, and we want our systems to talk to one another. It's feedback that we get all the time. It's a reason why people sign up for us if we have an integration with their EMR. It matters because our two systems talking really does take a lot of manual work off of folks' plates.
And how far along are you with that? Because I mean, that's huge for folks, is to have that integration.
Yeah, so we are integrated with Zenoti. We just launched our new deepened integration with NextTech, which we are so excited about. Love the team over there. We've got some great synergy going with them. We're opening up conversations with Patient Now. We would love to integrate with Aesthetic Record. That one's a little more complicated. They've got Lead AR, which has pieces of what Podium does. But we're going to keep trying with them. And then Aesthetics Pro, we have conversations with them in hoping to bring an integration to the table on 2025. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, making progress.
Well, so speaking of integration and collaboration, we've been talking about doing some things together because we've been obviously excited about your product. The reviews that we've been getting from folks have been overwhelming. So we've been talking about and are now actually set to launch a new partnership and I would love to hear kind of your thoughts and the evolution of that, because I'm excited about it. There's several moving parts, but the gist of it is that we're giving folks the opportunity to join Podium, as well as to get a membership to AmSpa if they're not already, or an upgrade to a higher level membership based upon what we're doing. So talk a little bit about that, and I'd love to hear kind of where this came. We've been talking about it for a while, but where this came about and kind of what the process was for getting this across the finish line.
Yeah, happy to go a little bit deeper there. So AmSpa, we've always looked at you guys as the leaders in the industry. You have a pulse on what's going on. You've curated all of the systems and solutions and products that med spas should be aware of. You've negotiated discounts on your members' behalf. So you guys provide so much value. You're always doing events, offering educational information. You crush it on the legal side and making sure people are compliant. We've always looked at you guys as you're leading the way in aesthetics, and we knew we wanted to be partners with you, and we always wanted more than just to be another vendor. So yeah, we're really excited that we finally got to a place where we can help you guys grow, you guys help us grow, and we really lead this out together. So for what we'll be offering at Podium, because we're very passionate about aesthetic businesses being members of AmSpa because of how much value they provide. When you sign up for AmSpa, if you sign up for Podium and you're not an AmSpa member, we will pay for your first year of membership for a basic plan. If you're already an AmSpa member, we're going to upgrade you to Plus so that you're still getting some value there, and a lot more goodness comes with you getting into that higher tiered package. And then for any of our Podium customers that are not AmSpa members, hit us up. We would love to get you an AmSpa membership if you're not already a member as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like really is. Obviously, we're very thankful for that. I think it's a really cool partnership. And then from our side of things, members get certain benefits for being a member as it comes to Podium. What are you offering in that range?
Yeah, so we're going to do special pricing off all of our packages, and that includes if you do any upgrades. Let's say you're already using Podium, but you want to add on Avery. Make sure to mention you're an AmSpa member and you will get our deepest discount. And then we're also, if you're not a Podium customer, we're also waiving our setup fee of $449. So there won't be any cost for getting onboarded and going.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And we appreciate you guys for all you've done for the industry. I think it's been great. And the fact that we're doing this couldn't make me happier. I think it's going to be really cool. I can't wait to see Avery in action. I mean, I kind of want to get one for AmSpa. I'm trying to think of what I would name it. I don't know. What do you think?
Man. I mean, I personally was a big fan of Zoe. But maybe it needs to be more, maybe starting with an A for AmSpa. I don't know.
We'll figure it out. We'll have to A/B test some stuff and all that kind of good stuff. That's really cool. And so we will hopefully have this this new initiative launched very soon. The ink is drying on the contract as we speak, and we are getting ready to get this out. But we're all very excited about it. I know you all have worked very hard to get this done. I think it's important for us right now. I mean, our goal, we want to get as many people as we can focused on the industry, and that means, you know, becoming our members, becoming affiliated with you, so that we can start really, you know, affecting change, because there's a lot of things going on right now that we need to make sure we keep a pulse on and have a seat at the table about. So that's incredible. I mean, so what else we got? Any big personal plans you want to talk about and share with the group? This is a safe space.
I mean, personal plans. I have lots of mountain biking trips planned that I'm very excited about, Alex.
Okay, well, that's something. Where's your favorite mountain biking destination?
So we're actually going to go check out British Columbia, Squamish, Whistler area. And for the first time, I will get to go heli biking. I've never done that, but we'll get taken up in a helicopter and dropped off in a remote place to mountain bike.
No way. They do that? Only in Canada. They don't do that in America.
You know what? Actually, my husband is working on creating a business. He's a helicopter pilot, so he
Really
wants to do that. There's a lot of great mountain biking in Utah, so offering a very experiential mountain biking getaway.
Yeah, that's incredible. So now, when you go mountain biking, do you go up the mountains too, or just down?
I love the up because you earn your down. You feel good about it. You can skip the gym if you do that.
Yeah.
So
How long have you been doing that for?
10 years or so.
Okay.
But yeah, current favorite place to mountain bike in the US right now, I would say Bentonville. For all you mountain bikers out there, if you haven't gone to Bentonville,
Where's that? I don't even know where that is.
It's in Arkansas, Alex. It's where Walmart is headquartered.
No way, really? What is it about Bentonville that's great?
I love that you're humoring me for a mountain bike conversation because it's my passion. So funny enough, Sam Walton, who started Walmart, his grandsons, who also still live there, their family's still there. That's where the original Walmart was, where it opened up. They are obsessed with mountain biking. So they have been dumping their Walmart money into building a massive miles and miles and miles of trail system through the Ozarks, because some of the Ozarks go into Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a playground for mountain bikers. And every year we go back, there's new mileage of terrain. It's so fun.
Well, you heard it here first. I mean, this is why people tune in, because they want these little nuggets of information about where to go on their next mountain biking trip. And now you have it. And first of all, I think your husband should go for it, and you should launch this business and and you do need to do it now, because in about 15 years, there's not even going to be pilots anymore. So he's going to have to figure that part out, because it's all going to be AI generated. If there's one thing you wanted to get across to people right now that are listening before we go, what is it? What are you working on? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I love having conversations from folks in the industries and hearing what problems they're trying to solve. We feel like we have a pretty good grasp on it just based on how many conversations we're having. But if there's somebody out there that was like, Podium, love what you guys are doing. Can you please build X? Because I have not been able to find anyone that can do this. Please reach out. We love hearing from aesthetic owners, folks in the industry that have insight. We're serious about solving all of the problems for y'all to make your lives easier and help you grow your business. So I'm going to give out my cell number. Text me. I'm a text girl, but feel free to call me if you want. But it's 801-979-8096. And hit me up. I'd love to chat and hear what's going well for you, where your problems are, and how Podium can help you.
Now, is the real Shannon going to respond, or is it going to be an AI bot? I mean, that's what I want to know.
I have not integrated OpenAI into my personal phone yet, so it will be me. That is a guarantee.
That's exactly what somebody would say who didn't want to know it was an AI bot.
Hey, if you know no difference, does it matter?
Probably not. No, you're right. You're right. I agree. All right. Well, Shannon, thank you again for coming on. This has been great. And for those of you listening, check out, first of all, everybody listening should tell everyone they know to call Shannon immediately. And that's one. And then two, but check out Podium if you haven't already. It's a really cool is it software? Is that the right way to say? Are you
Yeah,
software?
software platform, a communication and lead platform.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think it's doing a lot for the industry, and we're excited to be partnered with you guys in the future. And keep your eyes out for further announcements on what we're doing, as we'll be launching that very soon. And it was great talking to you, Shannon. Of course, we'll have you back, and we'll get an update on the future of the world and mountain biking trails, and anything else you want to talk about.
I love it. I always love hanging out with you, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thank you for watching the Medical Spa Insider podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel for future videos and podcasts. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, please check our description below.